emerged as a key factor in the changing world, with new technologies and modes of production becoming popular and old industries giving way to the fourth industrial revolution. Our collaboration with NSDC, state governments, chambers of commerce, and taking advantage of the new and emerging corridors of migration, particularly for youth and women, will be a key factor in this new era. Sir, this inaugural session will be followed by technical sessions featuring pre-departure orientation training and other skill issues, development of the eMigrate 2 platform, the Immigration Management Bill, infrastructure and manpower issues in the context of the new bill, issues related to illegal agents, coordination with state governments, and rehabilitation of returning workers in the context of the current situation. We look forward to interesting discussions, particularly the views of our field officers who are attending this session. I now have the honor to invite Honorable Minister of External Affairs to deliver his keynote address. Sir.
My ministerial colleague Shri Muralidharan ji, Secretary CPV and OIA Sanjay Bhattacharya, Protector General of Immigrants Amrit Lagun, Protector General Designate Yogeshwar Sangwan, dear colleagues. As Secretary CPV noted, this way of working today is not just the new normal. I think particularly given the importance of the subject that we are today discussing, it is perhaps even more, it's really very timely that we have actually gathered today to look at the challenges and issues before us. So I am really very pleased that this third annual conference of the Protectors of Immigrants is taking place, and in the digital format at that. Now, the focus of the conference is obviously to review our policies and practices pertaining to all aspects of migration. And this is a very important responsibility, and one that has acquired an even greater significance in the light of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, you all know that India is today a critical source of trusted talent and competitive skills for the global economy. Perhaps more than with any other major economy, human resources are at the core of our engagement with the world. They represent a broad spectrum in terms of qualifications, income, and confidence levels. Their regional distribution also reflects this diversity. Your focus as protectors of immigrants is therefore on particular geographies and those of our citizens abroad who are in greater need of support from the government. In fact, as you all know, your role starts much earlier in the process of this immigration. You are regulators, you are enablers, monitors, support systems, all at the same time. It is this chain that we meet today to discuss and review, assessing our own performance while preparing for future challenges. Our government has accorded the highest priority to promoting the interests of Indian immigrants for the last 6 years. We have established 3 new offices of POEs, which number 13 at present. This has extended our reach to more parts of the country, especially those areas which provide migrant flows to foreign lands. We have also promoted synergy and coordination between POE and passport offices. The opening of the Pravasi Bharatiya Seva Kendras, numbering 5 in different parts of the country and 3 countries overseas, is another development to provide better support and services to our migrants. The focus of the government has been to provide better opportunities and welfare measures to prospective migrants. We have therefore been engaged in negotiations with foreign governments to provide ease of travel and opportunity through migration and mobility agreements, protection of social security contributions, and integration of migration platforms to provide skill matching and better remuneration. Among those to whom we have accorded particular priority in terms of welfare and protection are the Indians working in the Gulf region, and in Southeast Asia. We have been taking all possible efforts to reduce their vulnerabilities, curb exploitation and harassment by foreign employers, as well as by unscrupulous recruitment agents. There have been significant changes in the structure and role of recruiting agents registered by the ministry. Nevertheless, there are still cases of cheating, illegal agents, and attempts to go for work in an irregular manner. The role of our POEs in combating such practices is vital. You have to spread awareness and address the grievances of our workers in your respective jurisdiction. We have all put in great effort to secure the interests of the most vulnerable migrants, especially blue-collar workers, men and women migrants. The e-migrate system provides a robust mechanism to ensure workers' rights and protection in collaboration with the host government. The integration of the e-migrate platform with those of UAE, Saudi Arabia, other GCC countries and Malaysia will greatly facilitate these efforts. We have also liberalized the usage of the ICWF, the Indian Community Welfare Fund, to provide welfare measures for Indians in distress overseas. This has had a particular relevance as we responded to the economic distress caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Also of note is the Pravasi Bharatiya Bima Yojana that provides insurance cover to workers traveling overseas. Our efforts are aimed at ensuring a safe, orderly, legal, and humane migration process. Now, monitoring the skill sets of our people abroad is an intrinsic aspect of the regulation and promotion of migration. But this also has greater relevance today as we are looking at the prospect of returning migrants. In July 2015, the Pravasi Kaushal Vikas Yojana was launched with the National Skill Development Corporation as its implementer. Together, we have been collaborating for our pre-departure orientation training program that provides soft skills regarding customs, regulation, and orientation of the country to which the workers are traveling. Clearly, much more needs to be done in this domain, and the ministry is now seeking to expand this further through skill mapping, collaboration with skill councils overseas, and recognition of prior learning, RPL, such that our workers are also able to move up the value chain and earn better incomes abroad as at home. Let me also emphasize that it is essential to improve our database of migrants. We need to find ways and means to capture data in a more robust and comprehensive manner. At the same time, striking the right balance between promoting easy emigration while ensuring safety and welfare is imperative. I am sure you will all be conscious of this as you execute your responsibilities and discuss these issues today. With our regular interaction with state governments through MEA's State Sampark program, the sensitivity and involvement of state governments in immigration management has also deepened. States play a crucial role in ensuring that our workers going abroad have requisite skills for the jobs available. At the same time, many of our workers who after long years of service abroad return with advanced skills and abilities could contribute to India's development. In fact, we are engaged in such data capture and mapping as an accompanying element of the Vande Bharat mission that is currently underway. MEA has facilitated data flows to NSDC to develop Swadesh, a database for skilled workers. Together with e-migrate, these can become basic tools for skilled job matching for migrant workers. As with the rest of the country, the protectors of immigrants must also rise to the challenge of reviving the post-COVID economy and engaging the post-COVID world. We are currently focused on ensuring that the negative economic consequences of the pandemic on our talent and skills abroad is mitigated. That is influenced not only by the quality of our various bilateral relationships, but the overall helpful approach that we have displayed in regard to health and economic requirements of our partners. It is imperative that we recover our market share as quickly as possible. The coming months will see dedicated efforts in that direction. The contribution that POEs can make to facilitate this national objective is significant. Let me therefore conclude by wishing you all a very productive day. I'm sure that as you deliberate on the challenges that lie ahead, you will keep in mind that your efforts can make a big difference to the lives of many people and the interests of our nation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. I request Honorable MOS to deliver his address.
Honorable External Affairs Minister of India, Shri Jaishankar ji, Shri Sanjay Bhattacharya, Secretary CPV, Shri Amrit Lagoon, Protector General of Immigrants, other colleagues who are attending this conference in the virtual mode, good morning to all of you. Honorable EAM and Secretary CPV have already touched upon the relevant issues and highlighted Ministry's approach towards Indian diaspora. All participants in today's event know that immigration from India has been going on for several centuries. India has a major share in providing both highly skilled and semi-skilled workforce to many countries, both developed and developing. According to statistics, every year, lakhs of semi-skilled and low-skilled workers have been legally immigrating to the notified ECR countries for overseas employment through registered agents. When we are sending such a large number of our citizens for overseas employment, the issue of safeguarding interests of the vulnerable categories of workers as well as their safe and legal immigration becomes important to us. Statistics bear out that out of the good amount of remittance sent from abroad to India, large proportion is from our workers in the ECR countries. There has been a focused effort by the government under Prime Minister Narendra Modi to ensure that the lives of Indians across the world are safeguarded in every way. We have taken several measures in the past 6 years to safeguard the interests of Indian workers going for overseas employment, especially to the ECR countries. But still, we continue to receive complaints in increasing numbers regarding illegal immigration, cheating, etc. Modern technology such as social media are being used for unscrupulous activities. Therefore, it is time to reflect in today's deliberations whether in our effort to ensure safe and legal immigration, the various policies and measures adopted have been helpful or has made immigration for employment more restrictive and discouraging. Situation created due to COVID-19 has further disrupted the flow of immigration for work to traditional destinations like Gulf. A large number, on the other hand, have returned and continue to do so. As per the past experience, after the situation returns to normal, many may try to look for work abroad again. Therefore, it's high time we finalize some policy issues that have been under discussions for some time at various levels, including Consultative Committee of Parliament, such as minimum referral wages or MRW, allowing private recruitment agents to send female domestic workers, how to ensure skills acquisition of immigrants as per demand of work available abroad, etc. MRWs lead to a number of complaints or grievances against even the registered recruiting agents, as it encourages change or substitution of employment contract in favor of the foreign employer and tilted against the interests of the worker on immigrants' arrival in the country of employment. On an unknown land, a vulnerable immigrant becomes a victim. The recruiting agents, associations or federations have accepted this substitution part but put the onus on us for having fixed unreasonable minimum referral wages. for various categories of jobs. This is also one of the issues on our priority list, and a study is underway to review MRWs in line with the demands of the current employment situation abroad. Recruitment of female domestic workers from India to any ECR country is restricted only through state government recruiting agencies, as there used to be numerous complaints in the past on exploitation of such category of workers and sending them through illegal means. However, cases of our workers going through illegal means have continued even after adoption of this policy. There has been a demand from recruitment agents, associations and federations to allow registered RAs also to recruit female domestic workers for ECR countries. Certain Gulf countries, Gulf states have offered to provide government guarantees. The issue has been engaging our attention for some time. There is an urgent need to check the growth of illegal recruiting agents operating in many towns, cities and states of India and prosecuting them under various provisions of the IPC and Immigration Act 1983 for carrying out illegal recruitment and human trafficking. Awareness programs and activities needs to be deepened. Modern technology is being increasingly used to lure people for illegal activities, on account of which even well-educated persons are increasingly falling prey to it. As EAM mentioned, we are finalizing the new immigration management bill. Such issues will be adequately addressed to ensure the balance between employment opportunities for our nationals abroad, not becoming restrictive, and at the same time not provide opportunity through loopholes for exploitation. Since 1983, when the current Immigration Act was adopted, we have rich experience in immigration management with good data. Hope such experience and information will enable us to come out with a good immigration management bill which will satisfy the requirements of the current times. POEs will do well to keep themselves updated on the bill so that it is easy for them to adapt to their new roles once the changeover happens. While the ministry and OIA division in particular are putting a lot of emphasis on the pre-departure orientation training, it's ultimately you, all 13 POEs, who can push all RAs to provide this training to in soft skills to all their workers before departure as per jobs available abroad. I am glad that both the sides, namely countries who receive workers such as GCC and those sending workers including India, have been in regular dialogue on such subjects through mechanisms such as Colombo process, Abu Dhabi dialogue, etc. I myself had the opportunity to participate in the last Abu Dhabi dialogue ministerial meeting held in Dubai in October 2019. I hope today's deliberations on the various aspects concerning immigration management would be fruitful and contribute towards adopting policies which would lay the foundation for safe immigration as per the present environment. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. So, Honorable EM, Honorable MOS, Secretary CPV, it's my honor to propose the vote of thanks for the inaugural session of the third conference of POEs being held for the first time through video conferencing. The presence and address by both Honorable EM and MOS signifies the importance of today's event and Ministry's attention towards safe and legal migration of our workers, in which our POEs and other officials of the government such as BOI and FRRO have important roles to play. We would like to thank, first of all, EM for taking time out from his busy schedule to address the conference by delivering the keynote address. The role of POEs in spreading awareness and addressing grievances has been emphasized by him in a new globalizing world, where India, being a rich source of human resource will continue to have its importance. For going forward, he has brought out the importance of better data capture, skills upgradation of our workers going abroad so that they move up the value chain, need to build an environment which provides both easier way with better facilitation for stakeholders engaged in sending workers with the required safeguards, and the requirement for our POEs to rise to the challenge of post-COVID world for reviving the economy and also for managing of immigration. We hope that the objectives and the views which EM has spelled out very clearly in the context of today's requirement and challenges would be adequately deliberated in today's technical sessions, and the way forward with the objectives he has spelled out, which are the policy decisions or the requirements of the ministry, will be taken forward, and we will come out with meaningful outcomes, which is tailor-made or suits these objectives which has been spelled out. We would like to thank MOS for sparing his time to share his valuable thoughts to the conference. In the 1 year he has been in the office so far, he has been giving us unstinting support relating to Pravasis and workers going abroad whenever required. The need to reflect now on whether the various policies and measures adopted to ensure safe and legal migration has been helpful or not has been brought out. Time to bring closure to some of the issues being in discussion for some time, such as MRW, allowing private recruiting agencies to recruit female domestic workers, skills acquisition as per demand has been highlighted. He has expressed the hope that with the experience gained and information gathered, a good immigration management bill as per the objectives spelled out both by him and Honorable EM would get finalized. Secretary has also highlighted the importance of stakeholders in continuing to manage the flow of our workers abroad in the context of today's environment, such as skills upgradation, coming out with a robust version 2 of e-migrate, which meets the requirement of the current demands. Under his direct leadership, we are working on way forward in immigration management and in finalization of new immigration management bill, for which we continue to thank him and continue to look for his support and guidance. We would like to thank our other colleagues, officers from BOI and FRRO and POEs for their participation in the inaugural session, and the ground has already been laid for fruitful deliberations during the technical sessions, which will now continue during the day. Thank you once for everyone again for participating.